Good morning, YouTube. How's it going? So, we have another rainy day where we're not going to be able to work on the F-250 out there, even though I'm in the middle of making a video tearing apart the driver's side. So what I am going to do instead is a quick time-lapse clearing out this side of the garage, and then we're going to pull in the 2005 Chevy Trailblazer and replace at least the front brakes on it. I guess we're doing this with the door open. I think we're going to look at relocating this in the future. Since I couldn't get the garage door closed anyways, I opted to push the vehicle back. That way I now have a nice walk area. I'll do this side of the car, pull it back, slide it over, and then have a nice area on the other side of the car. So I'm going to move some of this stuff and then get to jacking up the car and taking off the wheel. Yeah, if you can see down in there to the brake pad, there's nothing left. My jack stands are under the car out there, so I just put another bottle jack there. So I have two jacks holding that control arm. But now I'm going to go ahead and pull off this caliper, and we'll see what we're working with. So this bolt appears to be a 13. Got that one broke loose. Let's get the bottom one broke loose. So I went with Centric 102.08820. They were pretty cheap, but I did make a mistake and I got just the pads. I didn't buy the hardware also. Looking at this hardware, it looks more than fine. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed. But next time I do this, I'm going to make sure that I get a kit with the hardware. So I'm going to go through and on the slide pins, I'm going to pull them out, clean them off, and install some new grease on them. And then we're going to put grease a couple other places as we reassemble these. What I'll do is I'll slide this in and out a couple times. Okay. Got that one pretty good. Now we're also going to wipe down where the tabs of the brake pads sit. Normally you'll have new pads, so it's not as big of a deal, but as I stated, I didn't pay enough attention. And we will put a very light coating of grease in here. We'll slide these in like so. We will do the same thing on the other side. And make sure that you put any hardware you need to put on to make it look identical to the old brake pads. So that was just a clip. And this clip is what, on that little tab up there, makes it obnoxiously loud when the brake pads get low. Now I've also read to put a very light coating across the back of this. Last time I put a pretty heavy coating and somebody corrected me in the comments. So that kind of goes to say, if anything I'm doing you feel is incorrect, unsafe, whatever the case is, let me know so I can improve it for next time. The big thing is you do not want to get grease on the parts that need to hold. So don't get it on the inside of these pads, just on the outside where the caliper will sit. These brake pads are very thin compared to this, and the caliper up here has expanded out to be able to hold those brake pads. Therefore, our biggest thing at the moment is to push the caliper pistons back in and also make sure we don't push them too far in because that can lead to issues. So what I'm going to do is pop the hood, which is going to be fun with how the car is sitting, and open the brake fluid reservoir so that we're not building pressure inside the system. It'll let it bleed up and out. And then we can push these back in using some pieces of wood and some clamps. So I have a C-clamp and I used the old brake pad. As you can see, it does eventually poke holes through it, but I think that allowed me to push my cylinders back far enough. I just did them one at a time. And now I'll take this off. Yeah, I'm gonna need the piece. And I'll see if it'll slip on here now. So we now have the two 13mm bolts on the top and the bottom back on, and this is securely on there. Additionally, through this process, I was very careful not to kink this or put a bunch of stress on this. You can collapse your brake lines internally, and then it becomes a much bigger issue than just a simple pad change like what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this tire back on, rearrange the car, and we'll get started on the driver's side. Before I move this car, I am going to put this back on. And then I'll just take it off when I'm doing the other side. Whew, there is no brake pad on that. I have like little grooves in it, but there's not a real noticeable lip on the edges, which is what I was seeing online. So, I mean, based on people watching this video, do you guys know if this rotor needs replaced? For now, the front brakes were like $15. So if I wear the pads down because of these rotors, that's fine. But I will probably look for another set of rotors for this car. Just keep an eye out for sales. And if people in this video say, yes, those rotors need replaced, we'll replace them. Okay, coming down the hill here, so really this is the first test. No noise from my brakes, and they both seem to stop very well. Yep, it's not like it's pulling to one side or the other, so I don't think any of these are affected. We have the Trailblazer back from the test drive. Performed great. I don't feel any dragging. It also seems to grab very well. So that's going to do it for this video. We have new front brakes on. I don't hear any squealing from the back. But I did pick up somewhere over there back pads. I'll have to pick up the hardware, and if we start hearing that, we can absolutely get that done. So that's all I have for today. Once again, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and please subscribe, and any comments you have, whether it's saying I should have done something differently or you appreciate the help or whatever the case is, by all means, feel free to leave a comment down below, and until next time.